I didn't want a lot of fuss today, and some leave without speeches, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to say a little bit. First of all, thanks for everyone taking the time. I realize how precious time is to all of us, business people and staff. We're so friggin' sorry. We're so busy. I want to start by introducing, I have two children. I have a best son and a best daughter. And my best daughter, Kara, and her husband, Steve, are back here in the corner, and I wish they'd come forward a little bit. Just. Thanks, Dad. I'm not sure if I have any snowmobile buddies here, but that's fine. I want to thank Peter Cartwright too, and I'm not sure if he's here, but Peter made a very generous offer to fill his car with beer and back it up to the side door here and sell it for $5, $7 a bottle and then split the profit. Peter, you're a good guy. I appreciate the offer, but maybe just put a hold on it for now. I also wanted to thank the ladies, planning services, for doing this for me. Just all the organizing and giving me this very well. I'm going to try and not choke up too much. I did want low-key, not a big fuss. I'm not big on spotlights. But I didn't want to leave without saying goodbye. And thank you. So as usual, I negotiated with the ladies. As some of you are aware, in my experience, I don't do well with negotiation with the ladies. So I am, it's kind of weird. I'm actually feeling excitement to go and feeling sadness to leave. And those two at the same time. Especially just this last week, it's really hit me. I'm leaving something I love, but I know it's time to go. So, I have a confession. Actually, I have a lot of confessions. I'm just going to tell you the one. Back in '76, I was coming out of school, and I sent resumes across Canada, and little city of Guelph calls for an interview. So I actually rushed my wife and young son then. He was a baby, had a really bad cold. And we rushed to Guelph. We got a room. My wife wanted someplace nice, but I got a room in the Royal. I wanted to be close to City Hall and not be late for my interview. Because we're up there at night with the baby crying. Erin was crying. And my wife was ticked off at me. And the old water heater pipes were banging and crashing, and you could hear the patrons of the hotel. I was thinking, man, I had, as a student, I didn't have dress shoes, so I borrowed shoes from my older brother. And I was lying there in bed at night thinking, my shoes need polishing. Or am I going to get shoe polish at this time of night? So I actually ended up taking the Vicks that was smeared on my son's chest. I took that, did my brother's shoes all up nice, buffed them up, went to my interview the next morning, and it was funny, in in the interview, it was with Ken Perry, planning director at the time. Sorry for my back here. And Alan Smart. Alan Smart, they interviewed me in, was off a room close to the mayor's office in Old City Hall. And it was really hard to do the interview because I wanted to break out laughing a lot. Because I could tell they smelt the Vicks. They kept asking me questions and looking at each other like, what's on this guy? And, but I'm sure my interview went like a breath of fresh air. And in the end, they seemed to be really happy with me. In fact, to this day, I'd swear Alan Smart said, on the way out of town, Al, you could be looking for a place to live. And I thought that was odd, and all the way back I was thinking, why would he say that? And sure enough, I got the call the next morning to come in and take the job. And they asked me at the interview, when are you available? And I said, right now. And they said, well, what about your wife and son back in town? They can wait. So anyway, they did wait till Monday morning. I think the interview was on a Thursday afternoon or something, and I was good to start Monday. And Alan Smart, Director of Personnel at the time, I still remember the stuff he said to me that first day. And it was stuff like, okay, Hearn, now that you're a city employee, you keep your nose clean. If you get your name in the paper, it better be for something good. This is true. Said if you're working for the city, you need to remember all the time to ask yourself what's best for the city. If you're working for the city, you're not working for anyone else. And city comes first. And by the way, Hearn, you're paid to think. So you don't just do what you're told, you think about it. And you think about what's best for the city. That stuff was just ringing in my ears throughout my whole career. And I remember him saying, you apply the city rules. We have all sorts of rules here, regulations and policies. But don't forget to be fair, practical, and reasonable too. And I always thought that was a nice introduction, direction to a new employee. Just, yes, we have our rules, but there's reason that goes with it. And I'll never forget that. I won't keep you a long time. I know you have meetings and reports to write, submissions to make. I actually started here in '76 out of school, really green, a starting salary of $11,200. And which was pretty good money at the time, because actually bungalows were selling for $22,000, $25,000. I remember down College Avenue West. And first day on the job, this will tell you how old I am. I was handed my personal ashtray. Told not to start fires in the waste baskets. That's how old I am. And I remember just starting on the job, and the ladies in the office, I didn't really know them well yet, but they were so excited because they finally all had electric typewriters. You believe that? And then came the word processor. The head secretary got a word processor, and wow, could she ever move? And then the fax came, the facsimile, or instant messaging. It was amazing. And then the damn computers came. I still remember the first day I was told, okay now, Al, here's your computer. Now you type all your own reports. And I thought, you're kidding me. That's exactly it, Tom. Just, I learned a lot. There are many great people I've met through the ages, and I can't name them all. Like there were hundreds. Ken Perry was my first planning director. He was an awesome guy. I remember once I was going to take a stand on something at council, and he said he tried talking me out of it, and that was really important to me. I was going to pound him. I was going to win this issue, and he tried talking me out of it, and but he didn't. And I went out and I pounded my issue, and I forced my way, and I got whipped. I remember in the office the next morning, as I come in, he was standing there, and I thought, oh, here it comes. You know what he said? Morning, Al. He was that good. And Norm Harrison, my mentor, and wife Janet. Norm taught me to be a stickler with detail. And of course, Scott Hanna, standing beside him there, my manager told me, forget the detail. So I said, no wonder we have trouble understanding management. And Jim Forbes, Jim was in there as senior planner too. We were in the basement of Old City Hall. Ray Funnell, city engineer. I still remember his rotary code of ethics on his office wall. And it too talked about fairness and reasonable and compromise and all those great things that we need to be sure we don't lose, you know. And Terry Hearn, Ray's assistant city engineer, very potent, fabulous to work with. Dave Skamazen, Dave Noble, Sir John Kentner. But Gord Hall, city clerk, and Gus Stallman, head of recreation and parks. Lois Giles, city clerk, you know. Lois Payne and Tricia Sinclair in legal department. They were fabulous to work with. And I remember just as a young, really green, stupid city planner, looking up to some city councilors of the day. The Ken Hamills and the Carl Hamiltons, and Mark McKinnon, and Ann Godfrey. And some of you don't know these people, but when they spoke, their message was as clear as crystal. Just very great. The development industry, John Valeria, I've spent a bit of time with him. John's fabulous, and his co-worker there, Rob Mullen. Jerry Armstrong Sr. was, he was amazing. We did a number of subdivisions together. The thing that always annoyed me about Jerry is as I took one step forward, he'd walk 3 circles around me. He was so fast and so good and polished. And some of these guys here are pretty darn good too. I'm looking at you, Tom. Just Jerry Jr., John Mason. I remember working with John Mason at the very beginning, adding 1 use to a zone 1 month, and then 3 months later we'd add another use to the zone. Bob and Nancy Shoemaker have been a big part of my career. And Nancy and I actually used to work together here, and then she got fed up with me and left. And Robin Lee Norris. Robin Lee, I've worked with her a number of times, and John Lammer. John Lammer, who used to take old shells of burnt-out buildings or old stone buildings and just bring back new life to them. Just amazing. He's gone now, but he was fabulous. Alf Artinger, we did Westminster together. Alf was great to work with. There's scores of others. If I haven't named your name, you're equally as important. I mean, kicking around is still Jeremy Grant and Don Kudo. Don Kudo on staff here. Yes, just could have sworn, Don, you were here longer than I was. Master. Gary and Aldo up in the county, and Fred Nalashny at GRCA. I learned so much from them, and I learned teamwork. I learned from them about professional courtesy and listening and discussing business in a respectful manner. One person talking at a time, whether you agreed or disagreed, you'd work towards some common ground. That was very important. I learned about the good old-fashioned KISS theory. Keep it simple. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in issues and details, we forget, okay, hold it. What are we really after here? Learn about the importance of communication. That's huge, very huge. And even more huge, or something overall, is the attitudes we bring to work. And that's also huge. Attitude is huge. When we bring it, get up in the morning and go to where we're going, it's something that should be on our minds every morning. I mentioned picking my battles, and I'm glad Ken Perry let me get massacred that once when I was young, because since then I like to think through my career. I have picked my battles. I thought about retirement, and one thing I wanted to do, one thing I've been thinking about for years is when I retire, who am I going to thank? Like, I can thank all of you, but I want to thank the corporation. And I always wondered, how do I thank the corporation? The corporation of the City of Guelph. Who is it? And should I thank the mayor? Run around and thank councillor, the city administrator, the CAO. And I've always had a perception of the corporation. It's like the big picture. Throughout my whole career, I'm working basement of City Hall, the upper floor, 2 Wyndham, up here, and I'm so focused on my report that has a deadline, and my cubicle, my planning services, relationship with other service areas in this building to focus on my job. And really the corporation is a lot more than that. We're spread out all over the city. We're everywhere. If you look down at the City of Guelph every day, there are little bugs crawling all over. And that's the corporation, that's city staff. We're doing all sorts of things. And that's really the big picture. We're like a machine. And I pictured the machine too, and finally made Forbes magazine. I picture the machine the way we work here. Just the machine is about half as big as this building, and it's made up of tiny little gears, and we're all little gears. And because we all work together and we all affect each other, all our tiny little gears we're ultimately trying to achieve precision. And I'm in charge of my own little gear, and my gear needs to turn with the rest of them. And you take that machine that is as big as half this building, and that's what the corporation is. And the corporation serves the community. And helps build the city, manage the city, provide services to people who are really in need of services. I think of those tiny little gears. A really good example is, in that machine is, I'm going to pick on you, Lindsay and Amy, NHR. Lindsay recruits and brings little gears into the machinery of the corporation. And Amy assists or helps usher out little gears. So there's two important little gears, and if those two gears were slowing down or not working or actually coming to a stop, it affects the corporation. It affects our machine big time. And that's why we need oil and grease. And we get that from the leadership here at City Hall. Our policies, EAP, our wellness programs, and the friendships we build here in City Hall and with our partners in the development industry. The technology has just exploded since I started here. Just amazing. The multitasking, the prioritizing. We used to, remember we used to decide what our priorities were? And which three were the most important priorities? And now we prioritize our priorities and decide, well, everything's a priority. And we sometimes move too fast. I swear, when I retire, I'm never going to use the words time sensitive. Lately, the last few years, I've noticed in my career, fellow workers, and not just people inside but outside too, we all remind me of jugglers. The juggler gets up in the morning, comes to work, you have two things you want to get done that day, and then you see Sylvia, and you have 5 things to and talk to some of your co-workers, and you know, by noon you have maybe 17 things you're juggling that day. You all know what I'm talking about. And you ever try juggling 17 things at once? Eventually you're going to start dropping stuff on the floor, and it's hard to drop stuff on the floor, because right away you think, okay, I'm not doing my job here. I'm not, that shouldn't happen. I see it, the daily, as exciting as it is, the daily juggling can be some days unmanageable, and I'll leave it at that. Just don't let it get you down. The thing I've been saying to some other staff or people in City Hall is just do your best. You know, all we can do is our best. And I have a lot of faith in the IOR process that's going down. I was at a meeting this morning where a lot of positives were coming out, and the game plan sounds really good. And talking about efficiencies and mending relationships, I think that's good. It's excellent, and it's due. I want to mention to you how blessed I am. I've enjoyed my career immensely, and yeah, I complain at times. But my career here has been exciting. It's been challenging, and at times it's really been challenging. Remember my first subdivision with Jerry Kreiser, University Village East, south of Oak, which is south of Stone, and it was Scottsdale over to Rixon, down to Cartwright Road. In fact, part of the plan was bringing the rest of Cartwright Road out to connect to Gordon Street. And I remember the neighborhood. Nancy, you in that one? So the neighborhood hated both of us, right? Yeah. Maybe a little more Nancy than me. But I remember some of the comments from the neighborhood at the time saying, "You have no right to expand this city south of Stone Road." And that's where we really did start, Todd. South of Stone Road, we're going into that frontier because the '66 annexation brought us down to Clare, and then it wasn't until '93 that we took on a multi, and people were really upset that the little quaint little city of Guelph was going to start moving further south. Quite amazing. And as a development planner, man, some of the applications were so interesting. Redevelopments and a lot of subdivision work. And subdivision work, it's a grind, but any municipality puts subdivisions through a grinder to produce a good product in consultation with the guys who really take the risk, go to the bank and borrow the millions to keep business going. The mixed-use nodes were fun. The business parks, they were kind of fun. And the Smart Centers Walmart application, I think that was the most interesting, and I'll end it there. I always, lately I've noticed with the rezoning of Fort Wellington that it is time to retire, Al, because you're starting to rezone properties for the second time. I've had a rewarding career, but I tell you, one of my approaches coming into work is just feeling glad I got out of bed in the morning and dressed myself. You know, I think it's important to remember some people can't do that. That brings me to the topic of some of our fallen co-workers. I miss Julie. She could be sometimes really hard on me as far as the management processes go. I miss Rick. I miss us teasing each other, who's going to retire first? You see why I feel blessed? And just lately, Jason and Hannah, love you. So look and say, I'm lucky. I read the papers and look at the evening news. And here I am in Canada, in Ontario, the city of Guelph, and we're all rocking. So we need to count our blessings daily. I did want to thank Karen for taking me through to retirement. And Karen Farbridge, I think she rocks. And it was funny, the first few years of my career, I honestly thought the only one who's allowed in the city of Guelph to be mayor is Norm Jerry. It was like it was a given, and don't bother running against him. He's in before the election started, and I want to thank Mark. Mark, I see you there. I want to thank Mark and Janet Laird out in Whistler having fun, and Todd for having faith in planning staff in 2012. That was a hard year. And I want to thank Carl Wetstein for my Ward 6 councillor, who seems to have been around forever, of just working so well with me as a team. We did a lot of tag with each other and getting information back to residents, and just a special mention for Carl, who has been fabulous to work with. I'm almost done. I want to talk about humor. I've said before, I think to some staff, we're not working in a nitroglycerin factory here, you know? We're just a city hall. We need to do our best, be our best, but like laugh low during the day, it's important. Keep it light. And I appreciate all my co-workers that way. They've been fabulous in helping me kind of keep it light. Sometimes when I get really heavy, you know, you come out of a board hearing and you feel like you're just hammered. And one of your co-workers says something and life's good again, you know. And I want to say a special thank you to Connie Wani Sisboom, Patty Waddy, and Connie Wani Woo Woo from engineering, who can be annoying at times because she has been known to slap me. Junie Wooney and Tammy Whammy and Steffi Weffy. They're just that kind of nicknaming in the hallways has helped me keep it light. And Kimmy Wimmy and Donna Wana. See, they've already retired, so I'm not going to mention them. Because technically, I was supposed to retire before they did. And technically, they really didn't put their 38 years in yet. So technically, they still should be here, but they're gone now, and I wish them well. I really do thank Todd, Sylvia, and Melissa for your solid leadership in planning services. I've never seen planning services in better shape for management. And I think the biggest reason is all three of you are warm-blooded. Right? And I really want to thank my close planning family, even Chris. And all the planners and staff I work with in planning services, you're all awesome. I watch you and I'm amazed at your work ethic, and I see you drowning in work, but you're still slugging and you're still communicating, and you're doing it so well. You're perky, and you're even joking a bit. Because I see you under intense pressure. December 8th is a good example, and I think you're all fabulous. And Vale, Michelle, and Connie, thank you for saving my life a number of times. I just, every once in a while I need help with my damn word margins, my headers, my damn Outlook signatures, and Amanda and timesheets, it goes on and on. You notice in planning, in spite of the really heavy workload, and we got rid of some backlog there December 8th, but there's just a mountain of work there and it keeps coming, and everyone's slugging. It surprises me as some staff are still finding time to manufacture little babies. When there's so much work to be done. And then I realized, okay, hold it all. Maybe it's time for you to go because you did that 41 years ago. And then my friend Stacy, she's here somewhere.
She's here.
She's with the lady, I think.
Yeah.
And then my friend Stacy stands up in the middle of the planning office and says, "Hey Al, you were planning at the city before I was even born." I tell you, that's a signal. And I want to thank my manager, Sylvia, for coming in. You're the most giving, unselfish person I know. You have an exceptional work ethic. It blows me away. You do the impossible every day. I just look at your calendar and I think, how are you going to do that each week? Melissa's yours is the same. Todd's yours is the same. And others throughout City Hall, it's the same. There are 3 or 4 meetings in the same hour. So thank you. You're fabulous. You have been shining brightly since you've arrived. Finally, the truth be known, I swore I wouldn't retire. Till the Maple Leafs won another. And I'm so glad because now that it looks like a true reality this spring. I realize I can go now.
Planning the parade, Al.
So they're predicting a long, cold winter with lots of snow. So I'm going to go hit the trails, and I thank you all for coming and saying goodbye and letting me say goodbye to you because I've enjoyed each and every one of you. And I'll miss you.